Hello! What's going on, everybody? We are live with the Hebrew Cafe here to read Psalm chapter 29 with you in Hebrew and go over its meaning and get to what it, the forms and such. Colton's asking, who is out in chat land? Good question.
Nobody.
Who's out there right now? It's written 0, but hopefully we'll see that fill up a little bit.
Well, I can't see so.
You can't see that.
There's one.
We have covered a few of the Psalms already. And we did 23, of course. That's a big, important one. Now we're on 29. 29, I pushed out there on Facebook that it ends with that famous expression that says, let's see, Adonai oz la'amo yiten, Adonai yevarechet amo b'shalom. This is a very famous verse, and so hopefully we'll make it to it today. Henry won't be with us, but today we have Jonathan. Yes. Hello, Jonathan. How you doing? Good answer. And Colton's with us. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I'm good. Doing well.
So let me throw the chapter up on the screen. This is Psalm chapter 29 again. 29 is the letter Kaf and the letter Tet. Oh, no, you can't see Tet, but Tet is like this in sign language. Tet. Kaf, Tet, Ket, Kaf, Tet, something like that. All right, so here we go. Chapter 29, verse 1. We start with Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid. We've already gone over several times that we don't know exactly what it means. Does it mean that it's a psalm that was written by David, or that it's like for David, like something that's written in honor of him, or it's something that reminds us of David, or something like that? There are synagogues in Israel, by the way, like that are called 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗡 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗃𝗓𝗏, right? There's the Elijah the prophet synagogue, and we shouldn't imagine that at any point Elijah the prophet stepped foot into that synagogue. Synagogue is modern, but it still bears the name. So maybe the Mizmor LeDavid is somebody writing like in memory of David or something like that. I don't know. All right, so here we go. Havu Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu Adonai kavod va'oz. Choose the pointer there. Oz. Havu Adonai b'nei Elim. Ascribe to the Lord, b'nei Elim. Could be the sons of the gods, divine ones. I think there are a lot of translations that rendered it that way. If you check out this word, it could be very well that it's not Elim like deities, but it's actually from the word ayil. Jonathan and I were talking about this before we met up. Ayil is a ram, a male sheep. And notice that ayil can be used, like in Arabic, they use kabsh, which is like a keves in Hebrew. It's a lamb, sheep, excuse me. Akkadian lalimu, for a stag, that these words are often used for leaders or rulers. So B'nai Elim could be from ayil, and it means the sons of the leaders, or the members of the leadership class. Maybe not referring to divine ones at all. If you look at what the Septuagint has, it says Tokurio huyus krion. Krion are rams. These are male sheep. Krion. So the Septuagint took it this way, to refer to Elim, like ayil, instead of El. The word havu, let's look at that one real quick. If you say hava, it's come on, hava nivnei binyan, let's build, nivnei migdal. Yeah, hava nagila, come on, let us rejoice. Hava is like used for come on, let's do it. So havu is also with the masculine, the plural, come on, let's do it. But in this case, it's give. It's there's a root based on hav that goes into Aramaic. It goes through Hebrew. It's an old root that means to give. So whenever it's saying here, give to the Lord, we have to assume an object, right? It's give something to the Lord. That is, give praise to the Lord, give acknowledgement to the Lord. And so generally it's ascribe his qualities to him. So ascribe to the Lord, O sons of the leaders, ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Maybe glory and strength are the object of this ascription. We need to proclaim that glory and strength belong to God.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Great. So if there are no comments in the live chat, we will go on to
There are
the
never comments in the live. Well, I shouldn't say.
Yeah. Well, Kirkpatrick says hello, and also Muriel says hello to us. So welcome, guys. Very nice to have you. Right now, you're the only two viewers, as far as I know. Hopefully, people will be coming. Maybe the looming shadow of war is keeping people from signing on.
Also,
I felt today.
I didn't do any marketing this week.
Well, today I went up on the 17th floor of our building, the hotel, just looked out over the beaches and thought about, like, whenever, was it Pippin and Gandalf were in the White City, Minas Tirith, and they're looking out and they just know that the darkness is on its way.
Nerd alert.
It's kind of how I felt, like looking out and seeing how peaceful and beautiful everything is on the sea, and just knowing that we're under the threat of real danger. And I hope that things go well in the next couple of days. So if you pray for us. Pray for Israel. Shalu Shalom Yerushalayim. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. All right. And Adele also says, as always, I'm here. So hi, Adele. Good to see you too. Adele. Adele is easier to say in English. I'm sorry. Verse 2. Who wants to grab that one?
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Havul Adonai kavod shmo, hishtachavul Adonai b'chadrat kodesh.
Mm-hmm.
So, ascribe or give to Adonai, well, the glory of his name. So that's kind of weird in English. But the glory of his name, prostrate yourself. Prostrate yourself to the Lord in holy garments, adornments. This translation says holy array, and then it's glossed as for some reason in my Bible software, splendor. So they're taking it as a metaphor, I guess, for splendor. If you have holy adornments.
Yeah. I mean, it could call to mind, like in the book of Revelation, where the saints are seen before the throne wearing white, right? Holy adornment could be the white linen clothes that you would wear on Yom Kippur. But it could be just a metaphor for splendor. Notice what the Septuagint and apparently the Syriac, I would assume that's why it's in parentheses, have, according to the apparatus. Colton, you have any idea what that means? En aule, b'chatzrat kodesh.
B'chatzrat.
Haule is outside, isn't it?
Aule. We see it in the Gospel of John, referring to the sheep pen. It's a courtyard.
Yeah.
An area that's closed in. So this is bow down to the Lord in the courtyard of His holiness, or His holy courtyard.
It's kind of like
it could be
kind of outside.
In holy garment. It could be in holy garment, or it could be within the precincts of where the people are supposed to meet for giving worship. Right? Ba'adat kodesh or b'chatzrat kodesh. There's a distinction.
Yeah.
All right. So we always want to check the apparatus, like what we've got going on the right. If you have a copy of the VHS, then it's at the bottom of the page. If anybody's interested in seeing it, I can throw it up on the screen. But we're going to verse 3. We got a couple more people here. If anybody wants to say hello in the live chat or give their comments about things that they're hearing or thinking. Colton, verse 3, if you like.
Yeah. Kol Adonai al Hamayim, el hachavo hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim.
Very nice.
The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. I'm just gonna get really literal.
Yeah, this El is not to. It's not toward, but God.
the God of the glory, thunder. He causes to thunder. God, the glory, he causes to thunder. The Lord is upon many. The Lord over many waters. The Lord is over many waters.
What about the God of glory?
God of
The
glory.
God of glory.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. I read
Which, if
El.
you take kavod as adjectival, then it's the glorious God.
Yeah, sometimes I read El as a name, and it's probably wrong. But
No, it's not. Not all the time.
but
Just don't tell those evangelicals that.
well, you know.
Hey. כל אדוני למים, אל הכבוד הרים. אדוני על מים רבים. What are these waters? What are these waters? The voice of the Lord upon the waters. And it says, the Lord is over many waters. This might call to mind something also from the Revelation. Remember that it says the voice, I heard the voice of God. It was like the sound of many rushing
Sound
waters.
of God
right?
is over the waters.
So what is thundering? The word for thunder is re'em.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You went for the verb. He went for the noun.
Yeah.
Isn't it re'em or is it ra'am? I thought it was re'em. Hold on.
Well, it's from the root lesh, ayin, mem.
It's ayin. I wrote with the re'em that I wrote is with aleph. It's a different word. But re'em. But I remember there was a movie came out. I thought it was Ram Tropi, like Tropical Thunder. I thought it was Ra'am. Ra'am. Sorry about that. Ra'am. Ra'am. It's a Segolet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a hifil though, right?
Yeah, this is Hifil.
Okay. This is a verb though. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, Hifil, Hirim, cause to thunder.
I feel contrarian today.
Oh,
watch out!
So the God of glory causes it to thunder. He makes thunder. The Lord over many waters. The waters we see down at the bottom of the chapter is it says Adonai la mabul yashav, mabul, the flood. So I'm not sure why we're talking about waters, but that's what we're talking about.
I wonder if it's an echo back to Genesis.
What do you think? What waters remain from Genesis? Like if we take the flood story,
no.
The waters
Genesis 1, the Spirit of God hovering over the face of the waters. It's not coal, but
I don't know. Kol Adonai hamayim, ela kavod irim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai bakoach, kol Adonai be'adar. It just seems like the voice of God affecting things in the physical realm. It just shakes things and breaks them, like an atomic bomb. If you see an atomic bomb go off and it sends the
this is the only place in the Bible where this phrase occurs.
Which phrase?
Kol Adonai al hamayim.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. Doesn't seem to be a very common phrase. Adonai al mayim rabim. The Lord is over many waters. I don't know. Could it call back to the book of Genesis? I'm not sure. Or are we just supposed to imagine God?
I mean, I'm just guessing.
Out over the Mediterranean. Because that's what the many waters would be in.
I wonder if it's talking about the waves.
Maybe.
Is there a word for
he's
wave?
Making the move. Yeah, galim. So verse 4 says, Kol Adonai bakoach.
I learned up what her name meant.
Gal-Gadot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
She sticks with me, that lady. She does.
She sticks with everyone. Kol Adonai bakoach. she's perfect for that role as Wonder Woman. Perfect.
Yes, I agree.
Kol Adonai behadar. Behadar. The voice of the Lord in strength, or is in strength, meaning maybe like it is strong or powerful. The voice of the Lord in majesty.
Are you going back to verse 2?
The splendor. Oh, I'm in verse 4. Kol Adonai bakoah. Kol Adonai behadar.
Okay. That's why they... interesting.
Hadar, splendor, adorn.
Yeah, we had that in
majesty.
Hadrat.
We had Hadrat Kodesh. So it's got the feminine adornment, Hadara.
Why did I think it was room?
That's Cheder.
Oh, Cheder. Okay.
Yeah. All right. The voice of the Lord in strength, the voice of the Lord in splendor, meaning that it is full of strength and full of splendor, I imagine. That it's Malay Bakoach Umalay Be'adar. Yeah. All right. What else does the voice of the Lord do? We see that it causes thundering, and he is over many waters. That it's got strength and splendor. What do we have here, Jonathan, in verse 6?
5, right?
No, 5. Where did 5 go? Yes. 5. I thought I
Kol
typed
Adonai
5.
shover arazim vayishaber Adonai et azrei halvanon.
Lo azre ela arze. Arze alamon.
Arze.
Yeah. Kol Adonai shover
Did I say
arazim.
azrei
Arazim and
twice?
arze.
Arze. Sorry, I'm Hebraically dyslexic. So the voice of the Lord, or the voice of Adonai, breaks the cedars, and Adonai breaks the cedars of Lebanon.
What's the difference between shover arazim and yishaber?
One is a
shover and shaber.
One is to shatter, supposedly.
Yeah, the shaber is to like break in pieces, like makes them break apart. Shover is like this, and mishaber is like breaks it in pieces. Like Moses didn't break the tablets of the Ten Commandments; he shattered them. All right, so God's voice breaks cedars, and the Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon, which are the big cedars in this area, right? So God's voice is very strong; it breaks things to pieces. All right, very good. Verse 6.
Vayarkidim. Yeah. Ooh.
So Voked is dance. Yarkid is he makes dance. Vayarkidem.
Makes them dance. Yeah. Vayarkidem como egel. Lebanon v'Sirion como ben re'emim.
And there's our word of the M. The M instead of Ra'am, sorry.
Yeah. He causes them to dance as a calf. Lebanon and I assume Syrian.
Sirion. I don't know where the Sirion is, but we can look it up.
As the son of what did we say Ra'im was?
Thunder.
No.
Isn't it not?
It's an animal.
Ox. The oxen.
Oh, it's obviously a unicorn. See right there? It's a unicorn. And monokeros unicorn.
Okay, Siron. Yeah.
Let's look up Sirion.
Sirion.
It's a place.
Yeah.
References Deuteronomy 3:9.
The Sidonian name of Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon. Okay, so it's Mount Hermon, Sirion, which is in the north of Israel. Like it's where people go skiing if it's possible when it snows. So Lebanon and Sirion, Moven Re'imim. Re'imim, which animal is that?
Ox.
Antelope.
Yeah, mine said oxen, but I don't know.
A wild bull.
Standard gloss is ox, but if you look it up,
Wild ox.
gloss and logos. I think the gloss is based on BDB. I think.
Let's see what we have in the Dictionary of Classical Hebrew. Unicorn, obviously.
Sirion. No.
Wild ox.
Yeah.
That looks like the word that it wants to go with. Mrs. Klein. Okay. Cool. Ben Re'imim. Ben doesn't really mean a son of, it just means Re'imim, right?
Member of a group.
Yeah. All right. וירקידם כמו עגל, לבנון ושיריון, סיריון, כמו בן רעימים. All right. Verse 7. 7.
Stop it.
כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש. להבות אש, flames of fire. כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש. I think the חוצב here is supposed to be like a mitzit, like it lights them up. It starts
To
them.
hew out.
Yeah, but when you do flames of fire, I think it would mean like you light fire.
The voice of the
rake
Lord hews out flames of fire, is what this one says.
And this is to rake fire. It's probably from the same letters, but different root. Because you can't hew out fire, but
no, but God can.
It's raking the fire. It's raking the fire to break it up and make it catch oxygen and become stronger.
Stoking it.
Right? Stoking. That's a good word. Stoking the fire. God's voice is able to do that too. It can tear apart cedar trees and it can rake fire. All right. Verse 8. That was a really short one.
Alton?
Jonathan, you normally go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kodesh. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Adonai shakes Midaber Kodesh.
Midbar.
Oh, yeah, that holy wilderness. So wilderness, desert. Oh, no. This is Kadesh. This is a place name.
Yep.
The wilderness.
And it's in the southern part of Israel.
Yep.
Kadesh. So he shakes the wilderness. He shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. So we've got, if we think of it in terms of earthquakes, from Lebanon, the trees shatter and the quakes are felt all the way to the southern point of Israel, Kadesh, before, like where they waited before they entered the Holy Land. Yeah. All right. Verse 9. And this Yecholel is the Polel form of the same word that we just had, Yachil. So we've got the shaking, Yachil, and now we've got the Cholel or Cholalta, to be made to tremble. Again, to make tremble.
Yeah. Kol Adonai Yecholel Ailot v'Yechesof Ya'arot Uvehechalo. Uvehechalo.
Depends on who your teacher is.
Kulo Omer Kavod. The voice of the Lord makes the deer the deer tremble, and it what chasaf? I don't know.
Lachsof is normally to expose.
Yeah, and it exposes the forests. Ya'ar.
I would think that Ya'arot is like they suggest it's probably supposed to be Ya'arim, and I think that's another kind of animal, isn't it?
Oh,
Ya'ar. Instead of woods, Ya'ar, a forest, it's supposed to be some kind of animal. Let's see what they have here. Honeycomb? No.
not today.
Ya'ar.
A
A
kid.
goat. A
Yeah.
mountain goat.
Yeah.
It's suggesting Ya'ara or Ya'arot, like feminine, but I don't know that it needs to be feminine. It's like Ayalot. It's not necessarily feminine, you know. Okay. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧 kulo omer kavod. This is actually broken this way, one half of the verse and the second half of the verse, but it seems like 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧 should go with like the last part, right?
And in his temple, all those who sang glory.
It all says glory, or all of it says glory. What is the it or he? Not sure. Could be the voice of God. Everything that it says is glory or glorious, maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds you of the angelic choruses. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God of hosts.
Yeah.
Right? And the whole world is full of his glory. Glory, glory, glory. All right. Was verse 10, yeah? Sorry. And we're almost done with this chapter. This is very short. Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech le'olam. Notice the vayeshev is kind of referring to the future because le'olam is futuristic rather than me'olam, from the past, right? It's le'olam, to the future. Adonai lamabul yashav. The Lord sits at the flood, over the flood. Not really sure how we would render that, but mabul is a torrent of water. In the NRSV, it says the Lord sits enthroned over the flood. And in NIV, it says the Lord sits enthroned over the flood. Maybe. But again, we're looking at above where it says that the voice of the Lord is over the waters, right? Over Maim Rabim. We had that here. Adonai al Maim Rabim. Adonai al Maim Rabim. The Lord is over many waters. He's above many waters. So we see here Adonai Mabul Yashav. The Lord is seated to the flood, at the flood, you know, before the flood, something like that. Vayeshev Adonai Melech Le'olam. So Vayeshev Melech, he sat as king. So the Lord sat as king forever. He sat down and he remains king forever. He's seated on the throne. Right? We got some comments. ESV says deer. Okay, never mind. Wrong on that. Okay. So not much to really to translate there because it's very clear as far as the translation. The problem is the understanding. What is the flood that it's talking about? And what are the many waters that are being spoken about in verse 4 or whichever it was? Yeah, it's 3. Kol Adonai al Maim, Adonai al Maim Rabim. And now we see Adonai la Mabul Yashav. Adonai la Mabul Yashav. Kind of interesting as far as cosmology and how we imagine the world to be arranged. Is there? What do you guys think about the idea of, in Genesis it says that he caused the firmament, the rakia, to separate between the waters. It was the waters that were below it were called seas, and then there are waters above the firmament. The firmament itself is called heaven, the heavens. And that there's waters above the firmament. Could it be seeing God as seated above the waters of the heavens? What do you think? Remember that the flood was caused, according to the book of Genesis, by opening the windows of heaven. Opening the windows of heaven, and the waters came down.
Yeah, is the windows of heaven, but also the founts of the deep. both were open.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was both. But I mean, yeah, the whole thing that I was taught is like, you compare it to other, what should other ancient Near Eastern creation myths. The waters are part of that creation story and the others as well, but the point is that he speaks over them. And the other creation myths, they have to fight with each other. He just speaks over it, and the things are formed.
Good point.
Yeah. Excellent. And so in this case, the Lord speaking over, thundering over, we still have like the storm deity like vision, so to speak, but there's no actual struggle against God.
Yeah, that's really, really a good point. Like if we take the initial state of Genesis, of the book of Genesis, we don't see nothingness and then out of nothingness is spoken existence. Rather, we see chaos. We see an abyss, depth, water that just is out of control. And that God speaks and begins to create things within the abyss. So first he separates it so that there's water below and above, and he creates the heaven, and each part is like you said, like a conquering of the chaos that existed as the Tehom, the abyss. And we see Tiamat in Enuma Elish. Tiamat is supposedly a goddess that represents, or a god that represents the deep, the abyss, and it needs to be conquered. Also, we have with the voice of God, we see him sitting at the flood, at the abyss, and speaking with his voice, and that voice causes everything to come into creation,
into order. Yeah. And I think that makes good sense with the last verse here too, because whoever wrote this psalm or composed it, revised it, however you want to talk about it, they spend these first 10 verses talking about the fact that, and then why does that matter? Verse 11 is kind of the answer. Like, this is what it means for us. This is the application point.
Okay, so read that verse to us.
Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo ashalom. So the Lord, strength he gives to his people. He will give to his people, maybe, but let's just say he gives to his people. He will bless his people with peace.
Yeah.
And so it makes
if God's able to use his voice to break down all of these things, he's also able to provide peace for his people and to provide them with strength. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. And we do hope that there will be peace tonight and tomorrow, and that nothing untoward will happen in the land of Israel. It's something that keeps us all up at night. I've packed a bag that I take with me to work in case something happens. I have socks and underwear and medications and things that I need just in case I get stuck there at the shelter. It's quite a way to live. But we finished that one quick. That was 11 verses.
Yeah.
How about we just read through it? Because our point is to read Hebrew, and reading is not always got to be so slow and methodical. So let's read it and get the sense of it, right? Without translating. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. And we'll just go through the same order that we went through. So Jonathan will take verse 2.
Wait, what are we doing now?
Just reading.
Just reading.
To get more exposure to the actual text.
Just reading the same chapter or the next one?
Yeah, just reading the same chapter.
Okay. All right. So, where do you want me to start? 2, you said? Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, hishtachavu l'Adonai, Yishtachavu l'Adonai b'chadrat kodesh. This is the verse I had before.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, the same ones. So again, it could be b'chatzrat kodesh or chatzrat kodesho. Yep.
קול אדוני על המים, אל החוות הרים, אדוני על מים רבים.
All right. That's 4. 4 says, Kol Adonai bakoach, Kol Adonai behadar. Behadar. Verse 5.
My turn
John.
again. Kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaver Adonai et arzei halvanon.
Yeah, verse 6.
וירקידם כמו עגל, לבנון וסריון כמו בן ראמים.
Again, try to avoid the cha with the hard kaf, not chamo, but chamo. Verse 7, Kol Adonai chotzev lahvot esh. Lahvot esh. By the way, we didn't mention that lahavot is the construct of lehava. Lehava, the syllables are divided up differently when it goes into construct plural, because the first distant syllable is under the hey, so it reduces and it causes a backwards vocalic change, because it's le, and then the reduction that becomes laha. Okay, verse 8.
Kol Adonai lachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh.
Kadesh.
Kodesh. Kadesh.
Kol Adonai yachil midbar. Makes
Why is
the
that not in
desert
pause?
tremble. It is in pause. What does that mean?
Kadesh.
Kadesh is a place name. How are you going to change it?
Kadesh.
Why? You don't change the placement of accents in pause. The stress doesn't change. Kadesh is not a word. It's not the name. The name is Kadesh. It's always
it's
the
a
name.
name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, the word Kodesh is a different word. So it's always singular. Number 9.
קול אדוני יחולל אילות ויחשוף יערות, ובהקלו, כולו אומר כבוד.
Let's check the placement of the division for that and see what it says in. This is verse 9. The voice of the Lord causes the oaks to whirl, it shakes them, and strips the forest bare. And in his temple all say glory. That's the NRSV. The NIV says the voice of the Lord twists the oaks and strips the forests bare. And in his temple all cry glory. So it's kind of odd that the division in the verse is with the etnachta is here, because you would expect it to be here with the stop. Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot v'yechsof ye'arot. Stop. ובהקלו כולו אומר כבוד, וכולם אומרים כבוד. Everyone says glory. It's interesting that the placement of the etnachta there. Verse 10, Adonai למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. And the last verse, Colton read the last time. It's out of order, but you can read it again if you like.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jonathan. I don't care either way.
Whichever you want.
Go ahead.
Adonai oz le'amo yiten Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom.
Yeah, so Yiten here does have, yeah, exactly. Yiten here does have etnachta, and that is expected to stop. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. Muriel says, good idea to go over the psalm again. Yeah, I think so. I think if we have time, we should do that as much as we can. To answer that question, is your apartment far from work? It takes me about 20 minutes to walk, 25 minutes. So I imagine and I hope that if we've got things launching from Iran, that we have a couple of hours to get where we need to go. I hope, like the last time when they launched the rockets and drones. But we'll see. Hopefully we won't all be dead tomorrow.
At Tel Aviv, would they?
My assumption right now is that they would probably shoot towards Hadera. They're probably going to try to take out the power grid. That's what I would imagine, but I don't know. I can't predict what they're going to do. But that's my assumption, that they would try to hit tashdit, the framework, or what's it called? What do you call tashdit?
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure, that's the word. Yes. The infrastructure is what they would try to knock out, I think, to put everything in chaos before they can do something else. Who knows? I don't imagine that they would immediately just start shooting at populated centers of just regular civilian population. But I don't know. You can never know. These people are crazy. Anyway, what do you guys think about the psalm? Generally, you've got it, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's wonderful. This is why we're reading Psalms, because Psalms include a lot of stuff that rings in our hearts, if not in our minds.
Yeah.
And I think that the Psalms are good at that, calling things up, and things that you can easily memorize. Adonai oz le'amo-yitin. May the Lord give strength to His people. Right? Adonai 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗥 v'shalom. And this is why, like the Psalm that we quoted earlier comes to
why
mind.
didn't I read those of Joseph's? That's how those should have been read. Yeah, sorry.
The normal Joseph position
Stop
is for it to be
apologizing,
fronted.
for goodness sake.
No, I will not. You
you're being a contrarian.
The normal
You ever
Joseph
notice that you
position is for it
apologize
to
a lot?
jump to the
I'm
front.
sorry, do I?
Yeah, I
Yes,
know.
you do.
I know I know it's supposed to, but it makes good
Kitty's
sense.
here.
Yeah.
Hi, kitten.
It makes good sense in this case, though, too.
Indeed. Muriel says it's a beautiful psalm, and I said that's why I chose it for the list. What are we doing next week? Let's look at the Patreon. Patreon.com/thehebrewcafe. Well, I won't show that part. Let's see. This is the reading schedule. We were 29 today, the 5th of August. So next week we're going to be in 43, unless I pick up and just flip through Psalms and find another Psalm between 29 and 43 that's like interesting and cool for structures and stuff, and then I'll throw that into the mix, and I'll put up the thumbnail for it later on. But as planned right now, we're going to 43. In the next session, remember, we're going to be going into wine green. I believe we're in exercise 31, and we did 4 of the 4 columns, 4 rows of the translation, and we'll be continuing it in the next session, which is in 17 minutes. And then we'll do English to Hebrew just after that. Is there anything that you guys have questions about or would like to talk about that is not connected to the psalm or that is connected to the psalm? What do you think? This went really quickly, and so we have a lot of time left that we can use.
I will say, like, rereading something that you struggle through, once you get a general sense of what it says, just in terms of rereading over, like, that helps you build fluency with the language. Repeated reading of something that will help build fluency.
Maybe I'll write a blog post about reading.
And so there's, you should even going over that same Psalm 3, 4, or 5 times. And then as you improve your oral fluency, it will help with your ears, and it will help your understanding. Now that we've gone through, when I say you, I just mean in general, now that we've gone through, and have a general understanding of what it says, you can kind of focus on those other things as well, and really focus on like reading it as a full thing.
Yeah. Well, this comment here says, I'm still wondering about the implication of the position of etnach, etnachta is how I say it in verse 9. Etnak. I also wonder about that, and I don't know if that's something that might be commented on, like in the Net Bible or something. It is odd. It definitely is odd. About reading and what Colton said, this is absolutely true. when I was learning modern Hebrew a long time ago, there are a lot of readings in the book Hebrew from Scratch, and how I used that book, the 2 books, was to listen to the audio of the reading and read along with it, and then fill in the blanks of the parts I didn't understand, and then just read it another couple of times to practice reading it until it didn't present me any problems, even if it was a little bit shaky. At least I understood the shakiness, and then I would move on to the next chapter. I didn't spend any time in the grammar exercises at all. I spent all of my time reading, and I think that reading is the most important thing you can do as far as encountering new vocabulary and expressions. And the more that you repeat what you're reading, the better your recall is going to be. Yes. So while we're reading these Psalms, to read through the whole thing in one sitting is always a good idea. We could do that. We could go back over a couple of go over Psalm 23 or something that we've already gone over and just read through it. How about
that? That's cool. Yeah.
Psalm 23 is fantastic.
The Net Bible doesn't say anything about the placement of the Atnach in verse 10.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
That's definitely annoying. Psalm 23. Mizmor leDavid Adonai ro'i lo echsar.
Didn't we already do this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you not listen to what I just said?
I was distracted by a cat.
Stop being distracted. Verse 2.
Binot desha ar 𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗘𝗦𝗧 al me menuchot yinachaleni. Yeah,
Hey.
That's what I thought. I said, sorry. I can't.
I was hearing Yenacha, like
Yinachaleni.
Yanchil is like to make a nachala, which is
How would you pronounce that last
somebody
word,
dies.
Jason?
Yenaleni.
So you would say lane?
I don't care about the E sound. Yenahaleni.
Used to.
I care about the
sound
chet
like
sound.
an
It's not chet, it's hey. Yenahaleni.
I'm talking about the vowel sound.
There is no difference between and a. It's the same sound. It's the same vowel in Hebrew.
Yes, it's the same vowel, but you used to say I sounded like a hick when I said a.
Where you say a. Well, there are situations where you do. It's true. There are situations when you do. It's like in Spanish, you don't say donde, you say donde.
Right.
But if you say train, it sounds wrong. It's tren. Like the el tren, the train.
Right.
It's not el train, and it's not donde. Like there's a difference, but it's the same vowel. It's a coloration. Yeah. So that's what we got going on in Hebrew too. When it's a stressed vowel, 𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗘𝗦𝗧, it has a tendency to sound more like a, but it is still the vowel e. And if you think that sere is a, it's a problem. That's not true. It's not a, it's e. All right, verse 3.
נפשי ישובב ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו.
Lama'an.
למען שמו.
Yeah. נפשי ישובב ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו. All right, verse 4 says, גם כי אלך בגיא צלמוות לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. And why do I feel like it wants a sella? It wants a sella. גם כי אלך בגיא צלמוות לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. They comfort me. All right, verse 5.
תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צוררי, דשנת ושמן ראשי כוסי רוויה.
כוסי רוויה. דשנת ושמן ראשי כוסי רוויה.
דשנת ושמן ראשי.
You know, when you're reading in English, thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Thou anointest my head. You would expect that to use the verb limshoach, like Mashiach, right? למשוח. משכת בשמן ראשי. But it's dishanta, לדשן. All right, verse 6.
ochtovv ירדפוני כל ימי חיי. ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. All right, fantastic. I really don't know what to say to that. I'm thinking about it as we're going through things, and I don't understand why they would put the etnach there. It's very strange to me. So it's something that I think we should try to find an answer to, because the placement seems really, really weird. And is there a difference between how a simple vocal shva and the chataf patach and chataf segol are pronounced? Well, chataf patach is a, chataf segol is e, and the vocal shva is sometimes e and sometimes e. It's the same.
Did you learn Colton, did you learn the Shiva as too?
I did learn it as
I did too. Jason makes fun of me for it.
Hebrew does not have a throwing up sound.
See, I told you.
It's more like a sound.
Even Xiao says it should be pronounced like the A in above.
No, Hebrew does not have an sound. That is a particular English sound.
It's Americanized.
That's a sound
Jews.
that does not exist in Hebrew. And to say that
Jews.
it's not b'veit Adonai, b'veit. It's b'veit. It's be. B'veit.
I will continue to say b because I cannot be retrained, even though you have successfully retrained me on this area. Good job.
So yeah, the vocal shva should be e. And this
on the say ray.
Say ray. It fits with the position that there are 5 full vowel sounds in Hebrew. That's a, e, I, o, u. Just like in Spanish. A, e, I, o, u. And that there are diphthongs that go along with them, of course. I, right? Bite, zait. But there are 5 pure vowels. And is not one of them. There is no in Hebrew. Not le orech yamim, but leorech yamim.
It's helpful to new students to distinguish between sounds.
Maybe, but
it's
it
right.
doesn't make for good language. And finally, Mikedem made a beautiful song from Psalm 23. Mikedem is a singing band, I think.
Yes, exactly, Mari, exactly.
Yeah, linguists call it a shva. Yeah, they call it shwa from Hebrew, shwa, but that sound that they call shwa is not a Hebrew sound.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an Englishism, but that's still how they teach it. That's true.
It is how they teach it, and it's how we
sometimes.
And it's how we transcribe it, right? We transcribe it with an upside down e as a vocal shva. That is this upside down e.
Or how I learned it how Winegreen does it with the raised e. That's the older way.
But saying sounds very ugly, very ugly.
That's how Americans do it.
It doesn't sound like Hebrew at all if you say veit.
Nobody does that. Nobody who does that are modern speakers, so that would make sense to your ear.
Jason would be horrified to hear the reproduced
reconstructed
pronunciation.
Oh yeah, beret sheath.
No, it's worse, man. It's like when they get to vowels and there was.
Yeah,
what? It kills me. I'm ready to scratch my eyes out.
I told my professor, I said, which do you use, classical or modern pronunciation? He said, well, I use both, mainly because I think saying Daweed sounds stupid.
Well, we know for certain that during the time when the Septuagint was made, that the name was David from Hebrew, because in Greek it's written with a bet, with a beta, many times. David is let's see. I'm gonna write these out because I think I've mentioned it before. That all of these sound the same. If you can see the comment that's coming up in a second from the chat. Come on.
The other one that gets me is 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗥𝗡. It's a soft th for 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡. Like they'll pronounce the spirants first.
Why don't they do the gimel also?
They
Bered,
do. I just don't know how to do it. Yeah, they
Bered.
do. I just don't know how to do it.
So all four of these spellings represent the Hebrew David. The beta is V, and the alpha epsilon is also Av. So David, 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 David. All of them represent the same thing. We know that during the Septuagint it was David, and also carrying over into the New Testament. So I think that Hebrew has a very long tradition of Vav being a V sound, probably back until the end of the second temple or the first temple period, I think. But that's just my opinion. We are 4 minutes away from our wine green. Rock the Musical says, how you doing, family? Don't forget to end the live with a prayer for Israel. I don't pray, but you can pray if you like. I do appreciate the thoughts, for Israel, and that everything goes well tonight and tomorrow. We're expecting an attack tonight or tomorrow, so please keep us in your thoughts, and if you pray, in your prayers. So we're going to go into chapter 31, exercise 31 of Wine Green just after this. You can find us on the 𝗥𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗥.com, youtube.com/𝗥𝗚𝗏𝗡, patreon.com/𝗥𝗚𝗏𝗡. Join us, and we're here for you for your Hebrew learning. If you have any questions, always bring them up in the live chat, and we will address them. And hopefully you've enjoyed today. What do you guys think? How are you? Colton, Jonathan?
I'm
Vibing.
Which one are we doing? We're doing exercise 29.
31.
Oh, 31.
Yep. Good. So we'll see you guys on the other side. Please come, participate with us, give us your feedback, and we're always happy to hear from you. So we'll see you in a few minutes.
Peace, everyone.
Like we said, Shalu Shalom Yerushalayim. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
All right, folks.
This is especially
we have
true.
9. We had constant numbers today. Thank you, folks.
Yep. Thank you very much. See you on the other side.